Good morning, good morning, good morning. Nicky Hawkins here, West Ham Fan TV. The morning after the game before, and it's oh, what a kick in the butt. Let's just start with the football first before we get onto the nonsense. Gutted, absolutely gutted for the boys. Missed chances, missed opportunities, and at one point it looked very comfortable for us in that table. And it looked like we was going to do something special for the night. Still positive, absolutely positive. I thought everyone to a man was brilliant. I thought Souček, who got named man of the match, was great, fantastic. And we come undone at the end. You know, a couple of missed opportunities. It was a end-to-end second half. First half was very tepid. Second half was, it was tough. It was tough. If Forest win, now go 5 points clear. So what? It was 2 points. It was down to evens yesterday. Until 95th minute. We just got work to do. But positive performance again, and you're playing the form team in the league without a doubt. 4 wins out of 4. Beat. Ryan, I got. You asked me about this picture yesterday. If you want to contact me about this, you can. But yeah, 4 wins out of 4. Beat United, but beat Arsenal, beat City, and there wasn't a lot of people expecting much out of it. We listen. We know we've got our uphill task, but you cannot fault the boys. Everybody to a man was brilliant last night. I thought Disasi and Mavropanos. I'll talk to you after, mate. I thought Disasi and Mavropanos were brilliant. I thought the midfield were brilliant. But there's a couple of things that you got to say. We could just as positive as it was, you just can't be giving away chances like that. And what a finish! And what a finish by Sesko. It was fantastic. It was a world-class finish, to be quite honest with you. But another day that goes past the post, we see out the game. But I cannot fault the boys' effort, and I'm still sitting here positive about it. A point, you would have took it before the game. It's just cruel the way it happens, but it happens, and rightly so. The whole of the London Stadium got up and applauded the boys' efforts yesterday. More of that, just more of that, and we'll pick up the points we need, and that's all I've got to say. But it was funny enough. This is weird because after 10 years at the London Stadium, we was approached yesterday by a load of stewards. I'll play a video. And I'll show you exactly what happened.
By the time they get to win him.
Yeah, I can. We've filmed here for 10 years. Who? Mate, leave off. Leave off. Mate, we've been filming here. 10 years we've been here. 10 years. 10 years. In the same spot every game. I'm finishing. Let me finish this and then I'll move out over there. Yeah?
No, let's take it over there now. We've got this on camera. Right, we've been told to move.
That's ridiculous.
We've been told to move.
There we go. Yes. So yesterday, and funny enough, right, and I will say this. I've done a video earlier on with Sky over on the land. It was a big production. Obviously, they had their permits and all that. But for 10 years, we've never been asked to move. Now, funny enough, it's public land for a start. Yes, they rent it for the evening, but I'm a match paying, a money paying, match going patron, and I'll film. And I'm going to show you my equipment in a minute that I use every game. We used to take cameras like the one in front of me now, which is a big sort of TV style camera, and microphones that needed leads and all that. But over the years, as the technology's changed, we've reduced it to, we used to have trouble getting things in. I can understand it. But this is the equipment we use now. So that is a stand which you put your mobile phone in. like this. So he's holding it like that. Sometimes we have this. We didn't have it yesterday, which is a light. Oh, sorry. Knock the camera out there. Which is a light, which goes on top. It's on charge at the minute, but obviously you turn it on and off, and it goes on and off. And it attaches to that. Then we connect this little piece to this little piece, which is 2 Rode Goes with a microphone cover on top, which is a plastic handle, not metal, plastic, if you can hear that. And that connects to that, and we film like that. It's not a production. It's an amateur setup at best, you know. But that is what we've had to do over the years to allow us to film in the stadium, because quite rightly so, they've told us that commercial cameras and stuff are not allowed. Something didn't seem right yesterday about it, you know, and that's why I moved in the end, because I'll tell you what happened. They came over, they told us that we'd been asked to move on. I asked them who, as you see in the video. They said control. That's all they said, control. So I said, who's control? They said, we don't know. We just get orders from them upstairs. So I said, well, is it God? You know, the man upstairs, God? But no. Anyway, so we get to going off. The response team disappear. What is going on? Anyway, yeah. So we go and then I speak to a supervisor. So a supervisor comes over and I said to him, can you tell me, please, why we are being asked and escorted off site? He says, we don't know. We don't know. And I said, well, I want a reason, because I've done nothing wrong. I'm just sitting here. I'm filming on my mobile phone. So you can see now, there's dozens of people filming on their mobile phones, and people film on their mobile phones all the time. They then emailed up to control, and something that wasn't quite right about the response that we got, which the response was, if they want to continue filming and they resist leaving, do not approach them and do not challenge them. Just allow them to continue. Now, that, for me, from what I see, is a point where they're saying, let them trespass. Because I think if you don't leave when they've asked you to leave, you can be classed as trespassing. Listen, we'll discuss it with the club today, I'm sure. So it seems to me now, I'm yet to get an answer whether it's the London Stadium or the club that they want us off the site. 10 years I've been there, and it's weird because over 10 years I've said some negative things. Listen, we've had some problems there before, but nothing we couldn't handle, because it was to a point where I think we was trying to get intimidated into leaving and coerced into making some mistakes that may have led to a ban. It seemed to me like yesterday they're asking us that, obviously we've got it on camera, and it just seems to me it stinks. It stinks of what happened last week with the people with the banner. We've obviously been a prevalent voice in the protest. We've attended the protest. We've got a huge voice, and we film outside the stadium every week. They can't stop us. They can't stop us. They can ask us to leave. Yeah, my voice will still be here. It'll be prevalent to the end of time, until the day I die, to be quite honest with you. And if they want to intimidate us, if they want to do that, it's something what you know, they'll have to, have to find a way to get rid of me, because I'm not going to stop. You can ask me to leave as much times as you want, but I can walk 5, 10, 20 yards up the road and I can continue there. You can't come in my house and stop me from doing this. You can't come in my office and stop me from doing this. But it's just, I think they're kicking themselves in the foot, because, what they done last week to them people with a banner was absolutely disgusting. I mean, even even the message on it wasn't even abusive. It's just dictatorship now, and it's just abuse. And I'll continue. And if they want to go down that route, listen, they might be able to do me temporarily, whatever they want to do. But if they want to stop me from using that, a mobile phone, they've got about 20,000 other people that they have to do it every game, because I was surrounded with people filming on their mobile phone yesterday. I want to know what I've done wrong. They'll end up, they might end up banning me entirely, but more for them, because I've built a platform here for the fans, to speak about fans and fans' issues, and they're barking up the wrong tree, because my voice will never be silenced. I will always, if I have to sit here and fucking talk about it, I'll sit here and talk about it. Absolute clowns, the club, the people that run the club. As I said before, I'll be making inquiries today. Might even film the phone call, and inform them that I'm doing that. Trying to make an example out of me, yeah, maybe. So what? You know what I mean? Let them make an example out of me. If they're picking on me, they're not picking on anyone else. If that's what they want to do, if that's how they want to run their club, and then if that's how they want to treat the fans, and that's the respect they have for the fans having a say on what they've just seen on a fucking football pitch, let them do it, because they're only damaging themselves. It's weird, because for 10 years I've been pretty critical, and at the moment I'm pretty positive. If you look at all my videos, I'm back in the club. I'm behind the club, and to chuck me off site, would it have happened if they'd have won? You need to find out who made the call from control. They wouldn't tell me. I asked many times. They wouldn't tell me the reasons. They wouldn't tell me who made the call. But it is what it is. We'll have to see what happens the next game. I'm going to Burton. I'm going to Fulham, Bournemouth, and we'll see. And we'll see what happens. Idiots, complete idiots. If they think they're going to start bullying us now after 10 years, there's enough people in this room right now watching this, and there's enough people that retweeted the tweets and all that are bringing to light what's going on. It's public land. No one's ever asked me to stop filming there before. Public land. Taxpayer owned money. In fact, me and you pay for it. There's people filming there. The club are filming there. So, it is what it is, so yeah. Weird, strange. Seems like we're trying to be controlled by someone, but we're never going to be controlled. We're not. There's a reason this channel exists, and there's a reason that this channel, for 10 years, hasn't got into bed with anyone at that club, because they are dictators. They are silencers. They asked certain people years ago to do fan cams when we started doing fan cams for their own channel, but you couldn't talk about a loss. There we go. They can't silence us. They never will. They ban us. They can do whatever they want. We haven't done anything wrong, so they'll have to go to court, and then have to hold up in court. But there we go. Let's take some comments. Nicky, why are we getting Fergie time in 2026? Mate, 7 minutes was a fucking joke. It was a fucking joke, to be quite honest with you. It was, I don't know where it came from. Listen, it was put up at 7 minutes. We considered on 95th. We knew what we had to do, and we didn't quite get it done. But listen, it was gutting. It was wrenching. But I cannot fault the the efforts from the lads. There we go. There we go. There's nothing that we can do. But I'm not concerned about the performances on the pitch. We've got to start picking up results. We've got 12 games left, plenty of points to play for, and I'm sure we'll get a few more if we start playing like that. There we go. That's all we can do. They're not. They'll start attracting the YouTube auditors if security keep funny about people filming, etc. Yeah, they do. Yeah, them people like to upset people, don't they? But yeah, performances like that, just keep on putting them in, and we'll pick up points. It's not in our hands. It hasn't been in our hands for a long time. It's 2 points at the moment because Norton Forest got to speak tonight. So let's see where we are at the end of the week. We've got the FA Cup game to look forward to, and we've got Bournemouth coming up. So let's see where we are at the end of this run, and we'll see what happens at the end of the season. There's not a lot we can say about it now, but just keep the faith. If you keep on being positive, I'm sure positive things will come to you. But there we go. Ask the club if anyone's out there on Twitter. Ask the club about why we was moved on last night, and just say that you think it's disgusting. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching, Ray. Mr. Chapman, where are you? I see you in there. We'll talk about that. You can email me or get me on Twitter or Facebook or something like that about that. I've asked the guy for a price for it, and he's got one for you. So yeah, we'll talk about. I think it was 175, I believe. But there we go. For that, all the legends, Upton Park. But as you see there's loads of stuff behind me, and you can buy anything on this wall. This is all for sale. I'll buy and if you buy it, I'll replace it. There we go. But thank you very much for watching. Keep the faith. Don't get too disheartened. And we'll keep on fighting. We'll be back later with post-match pint to break down all of the action. But thank you for listening. And it's been a pleasure this morning. But thank you very much. One thing left for me to say: come on, you irons.